people what they want. Welcome to our Buffalo and Atlanta audiences, and to all of those in between, West Coast, East Coast, South, all our folks down in North Carolina, South Carolina. Listen, thanks for listening. Another edition, a lot going on in the world, another edition of Power to the People. For those of you in the Buffalo area, you'll know who's going to be our guest a little later in the show. For those of you in the Atlanta area, before she comes on, I'm going to explain to you who she is. And I know black women and black folks all over the world I'm going to switch up a little bit, are talking about one of my favorite federal representatives, Jasmine Crockett. Some bad news. Let me see. I didn't cue it up, but from what I was hearing, because I didn't pay attention, she lost.
Yeah, she lost. She lost her seat, and she is not even in the Democratic runoff with Tallarico. So it looked pretty bad early on. I was hoping. I was watching CNN, and I was like, okay, maybe they waiting on Dallas County. And then when she came out and was like, well, we might have to file a lawsuit to get Dallas County votes in, and I was just like, well, when you on election night talking about suing, it's not a good sign.
Yeah, and I'm disappointed in the results. I feel like she is one. It's not. I think it's proven.
Right.
She is one of the most outspoken representatives that we have in D.C. And she's not ashamed. So of course they're gonna come after her.
Absolutely.
And now here's the skinny of what I was listening to on national black radio shows this morning. Is that now, this is how we do. I'm learning, it's not just Buffalo. You got black lawmakers, some black folks blaming her that she did not run a good campaign. I
agree. Well, I won't say I agree because I don't know her campaign strategy, but did hear the same thing, and honestly, it was even from people in Texas. It was kind of well, not everyone here is super radical, and you kind of have to. If you're trying to go do that, you kind of have to appeal to that conservative base because, I know we're talking about Jasmine because even Representative Al Green is now in a runoff, and he was the one with the sign in Congress. So it's a sign that Texas may not be up. And remember, they got new lines, so Texas may not be up for the rah-rah.
But we knew this,
right?
We knew that when Texas redrew the lines, it was on purpose to make sure she nor anybody else of color won.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not ragging on Texas. Texas has its own reputation. We know.
Oh, absolutely.
And so at the end of the day, what's disappointing to me in political, let me see. Now my computer wants to reboot. You're going to be rebooting 120 minutes. Black Democratic strategists, lawmakers, and activists are frustrated that Texas Democrats rejected Jasmine Crockett as their Senate nominee Tuesday night, but they also saw it coming. Following Crockett's single-digit loss, they recounted a laundry list of why she fell to State Representative James Tallarico. Her campaign was unfocused. She had an insufficient campaign infrastructure to challenge Tallarico, even though she earned the backing of former Vice President Kamala Harris. They also said her media strategy relied too heavily on social media rather than television ad buys, typically seen as critical in a sprawling state like Texas and its nearly 24 media markets. Well, we've seen that even locally,
right,
where people run and they think that this internet is going to get them over, when the real deal is a lot of voters and older voters are not on Facebook and TikTok.
No.
And so that's appealing to a portion, but it's not appealing, I don't think. It's the same thing at church. We got church that's got seniors and I've got teenagers. And I got the adults, in between, right? Yep. And so you have some of my younger staff at one point, let's get rid of envelopes. Let's get rid of the bulletin. People can scan a QR code. And I said, absolutely not.
Nope.
You absolutely not. And we ran short on envelopes this year, and people were losing their mind. You have to appeal to all levels.
Absolutely.
You cannot just appeal to one. And so people who don't understand politics will be upset, quote, said Jelanda Jones, a Democrat, will be upset because Jasmine was their hero. But for the people who understand politics, Crockett literally had no ground game. Boy, they shooting at each other.
Well, and it's I mean, in I follow her on multiple platforms, and I saw a lot of her stopping at events, rallies, parties, things like that. I can't say I saw her like doing a video where she was knocking on doors. I can't say I saw a video like that. So from the outside looking in, Politico was probably nailing it on the head.
Well, it's not Politico saying it.
Oh, okay.
These are African-American lawmakers being interviewed by Politico.
Okay.
Because this woman even says the L is on her. Taken together, Crockett's campaign shortcomings doomed the upstate Senate bid of the two-term Congress member who entered the contest with broad name recognition and hopes of showcasing her firebrand personality and penchant for viral moments to help Texas Democrats end their nearly 40-year winless streak in Senate races. Still, black strategists and activists warn Crockett's loss will have ripple effects. And I think that, she lost.
Yep.
But I'm feeling Kamala Harris-like because, first of all, she gets in late.
Yeah.
The lines have been redrawn.
Yep.
And for her to even get as close as she did, over 1 million votes, a black woman in Texas in a redrawn district, I think you got to give her some bit of credit.
Well, and I think, they also are looking at the standpoint of who can beat the Republican nominee.
Absolutely.
So whether it may be all on her, you may have some Democrats in the primary that's just said, I'm not voting for her just because I don't think she can beat whoever the Republican nominee
Absolutely.
is. So like you said, everything may not be on her, of course, but anytime you can Monday morning quarterback a campaign afterwards and say what didn't happen. But, our question on this show we normally ask is, well, what did those African-American lawmakers do to help her get across the finish line?
Totally, absolutely. But I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. And I am a Democrat, but I'm going to say it. Democrats got to get their stuff together.
Yeah.
Because what is the ground? What is the plan, Democrats? What are we doing?
What are we doing here?
I mean, I think that Trump has us scrambling all over the place.
Yep.
And nationally.
Yes.
And that we're paying more attention to Donald Trump than what is it that the Democrats want and are going to do, not just want. Right now, gas prices are supposed to be at some of the highest levels in both of Trump's terms.
Yep.
And they're going to get higher.
Yes.
Because the ships that carry the oil that have a timeline.
Yes.
You can't just put oil in the ship and it just sits there.
Right.
It has a timeline that it has to move.
Yep.
And now with all this war, all of these wars that are going on, gas prices are going up. I think the average American, and I'm the average American citizen, they want to talk about prices. They want to talk about bringing down
affordability
prices.
Yep.
I see the thing even locally in the state of New York where the governor is fighting against, fighting for lower car insurance rates in New York. We have some of the highest car insurance rates in the country.
Amen to that.
So it's things like that when you're lowering rates, when you're helping with childcare. We're spending right now $1 billion on a war. And I'm trying not to go there because I'll stay here. I'll come back. I digress. So she didn't make it to Senate. But she still has her. No, she gave up her seat to run.
Yeah, all of Texas was up, so she lost her congressional. So she'll be done in Congress in January. So which somebody said, if I'm the White House, I'm worried for the next 9 months because now she got nothing to lose. So she can come after you hard for the next 9 months.
No, that's what I mean. She's still in her seat.
Yeah, she's in her seat for the rest of this year.
Yes, that's what I meant. That she's still she's still there as the congresswoman.
Yep.
And so I'm glad about that. And unfortunate part, just like this Christie, then we're not going to make a off-ramp for her.
No.
We're not going to give a golden parachute for her. She'll just be out there and have to come back a different way. But I think that it's going to be a great loss to our democracy not to have her voice because, listen, I was glad to see Tim Kennedy shaking his head on the. Did you see it on the State of the Union? Yeah. At least there's some sign of, but that powerful voice in the face of power, and of course he hasn't. I don't know how long she's been a congresswoman, but at the end of the day, she was a powerful voice, especially for African Americans, but not just African Americans. She was a powerful voice for those who didn't like what was going on in the White House. You cannot sit back and be silent and be elected. You got to speak it right there. Speak it on the floor. Speak the truth to power. And so I can't even read what one of the Black National Democratic operatives said, who was granted anonymity, because he says she ran a blank, terrible campaign that many will question if she's running the campaign at all. At the end of the day, she ran the campaign. They spent more money than any race in Texas against her.
Yep.
So she must be somebody that you had to spend that much money to bring her down.
And her own party. This wasn't the Republicans running against her. This was her own party.
Come on.
And one of her biggest issues was her own party put out an ad where they darkened her skin and made her, look worse than what she was. So this was blue on blue crime here. So,
well, the president has fired his what was she?
She was the Secretary of Homeland Security.
So the woman who led these ICE raids, the woman who said that two innocent people who were protesting that they were, I think she called them terrorists, basically.
Yep. Domestic terrorists.
Trump dumped her.
Yeah.
Trump. And here's the wild thing. The minute it came out, I'm a news junkie. I go right to the news.
Yep.
But if you go to C-SPAN and other places, she's speaking.
Yeah, she was
5 minutes after it hits. She never says she's leaving. She even answered questions saying, like, we're going to work on that.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what was the hilarious point within the hour, because they came out and said, no, President Trump called her on her way to that event. So she knew before she took the stage that she was fired.
I might have been like, I'm going home. But even if I spoke, I think I would have addressed
been a different
that.
Tone.
I have enjoyed working. There's changes announced because he had already announced it.
Yep.
But here's the big deal: you call a guy who's going to replace her, and you tell him that you're bringing him into the cabinet. A guy who's independently elected.
Yes.
That you're going to bring him. I had to play that in my head. I mean, I know it's a more power because she bought a plane.
Yeah.
This woman bought a plane, a luxury plane, saying that this is what they're going to be transporting the detainees in.
Well, and here's the thing. She still gets to keep her plane, because even though she was basically just demoted from U.S. Homeland Security, because she was reassigned to a new role of U.S. Special Envoy for the Shield of America.
Who says she gets to keep the plane? That plane belongs probably to the department that she worked in. So he got a plane.
Well, it might take it because it says a newly created diplomatic security role. So she might get the plane with her. Who knows?
I don't give a daggone about the plane.
Right.
I give a daggone that they are giving her a golden parachute.
Yeah.
And didn't just fire her. When that happens, she know where the body's buried.
Oh, absolutely.
She knows where the body's buried, and they're not going to get rid of her.
Absolutely.
Because she's going to tell. But she might not have to worry about telling. Because check this out. Justice Department publishes documents with sexual assault allegations against Donald Trump.
Oof.
The Justice Department, according to Politico, on yesterday at 10:30, last night this was published, 10:31 p.m. while we all were drifting off to sleep. The Justice Department posted a trio of FBI interviews with a woman who alleged President Donald Trump essayed her, because I might get knocked off air, essayed her when she was a young teenager after she was introduced to him by Jeffrey Epstein. The woman's central allegation, according to the FBI summaries of her interviews with investigators known as FBI 302s, is that Trump hit her after she bit his private part.
Wow.
When he attempted to force her to do things with his private part. The three files come as Democrats are investigating whether the department purposefully withheld. Of course they purposely withheld.
Of course.
Of course he knew this was about to come out. Of course, what do you do when you don't want the press to have time to pay attention to an allegation of SA? You start a war.
Absolutely.
In the middle of Ramadan, you start a war.
Absolutely.
In the middle of Holy Week, you start a war so that now every major news outlet has their best reporters covering the war.
They're in the Middle East. They're in the Middle East right now, dodging missiles.
But you let Bill and Hillary get it, and I don't know whether Bill or Hillary did, but I'll tell you this. They held their own.
Oh, yes, they did.
And big ups to that black woman who was the lawyer for Bill Clinton.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, I was like, this woman is, you had the other guy.
Yep.
But that woman, she was no joke.
She was the most attentive one in that room.
If I ever need a lawyer, I want somebody like that.
Absolutely.
I want somebody like that. Bill was about to get his own stuff. She would be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Answer the question.
And looking at that photo too long, grinning, reminiscing. She took that sheet of paper.
Bill started laughing. Bill said, I ain't do nothing. Jeffrey dead.
Yeah.
Bill. Who you gonna ask?
Bill started remembering that party.
Bill said, she said, give me that picture. Daggone it. For your hotel, be them reminisced and we ain't doing that. But I really believe in my heart, and I could be wrong.
Yep.
This is my opinion. This is just a thought, that this war got started because this was about to come out.
Oh, I believe.
Because think about it. It's not at the top of the if you Google search the news, it's all about war.
Absolutely.
War. Christie, no, the Christie ain't even.
And to think about it, and I guess this is the how we get to the war. This might be the most confusing entrance into a war in American history. This is a war that was never declared war, that said it wasn't a war, but then everyone calls it a war.
First of all,
I'm so confused.
It's a war that has not gone through the proper channels to declare war in the United States. And I think yesterday or Tuesday, the Democrats pushed to basically limit the president's hands during this war.
Yep.
And of course it failed.
Yes.
So which means now he can do whatever the heck he wants.
Well, it was interesting because you had one Republican vote with the Democrats, and then you had one Democrat vote with the Republicans on whether to stay in the war. And the Democrat was Fellerman from Pennsylvania. So, but the same, and that's the confusing part with this administration and trying to follow news and just stay up to date. It's because 1 hour, one presser. This is not a war. This is not about regime change. This is not about this, that, and the other. Then the next presser, and it could be President Trump doing both of them. The next presser is, I'm not going to be happy until I control who's in power. Well, that's
how do you get? It's a regime change.
It's a regime change.
And
war.
what gives any president? I don't care who it is. What gives any leader of one country the right to say this will not? I have to have my hand in choosing the leader of your country. When you talk about arrogance, the epitome of arrogance, because this is no longer about peace.
Oh, absolutely.
This is now about power.
Absolutely.
And whenever power is in front of peace, you have chaos.
Absolutely.
So now you have somebody who is more about power, and I've got to choose. He said this morning that Cuba is next. Cuba. He said Cuba will fall. Something close to that. In an interview with the CNN reporter, who I couldn't believe. Wow. So she only talked to him on the phone, but she came on right afterward and said that he's talking now about Cuba.
Wow.
And that Cuba wants to negotiate. And Cuba, you can't, number one.
Negotiate what? Like,
what are they doing to us? Cuba is over in Cuba.
Right. they holding on by the bear.
They ain't messing with, they're not building nukes. They're not, why? Why? Because you don't like their leader? Well, what happens if somebody doesn't like our leader?
Right.
Is it okay? Because when the towers went down, America lost their mind, right?
Yes.
Now we're going into other people's country and just bombing. I get the nuclear place. Got it. I get that this man allegedly was a terrorist. I get it. But he's dead.
And like you said, to your point, if you bring up 9/11, one of those planes was headed for the White House. So we weren't that far off. And honestly, the America's saving grace is the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean, because of what we're doing to other countries. If we lost an ally in Canada or Mexico, we're doomed, because you would have all of these other countries that's like, oh, the U.S. has been meddling this long.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we on the way.
Our social media is lit up. Marie Collins says weak women are always going to go after and put down women. They are the worst. She was talking about Jasmine Crockett. Keaton says, I have not given up on her. She's a powerhouse. She will find her way back to the front line. Let me see. There's a lot going on. Diane Coakley says, and they got receipts, show everything. I'm missing some of your comments, but at the end of the day, I think that it's a shame that we are in the middle of a war that we don't know what's the outcome.
No. And it took us 4 days to figure out a plan or what was even the goal of it.
But we still don't know the goal, because the president said one thing.
Yeah.
The Secretary of War said another thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is the part that burns me. Many innocent people are going to die.
Yep.
And when you don't have any,
we've already lost 6.
And I'm talking about even
over there. Yeah.
I get it, the military part, but allegedly you bombing a girls' school.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the pictures, unless they are good actors.
Yep.
We're bombing residential areas. People are dying that we're supposed to be saving. If you got rid of the guy who you said was causing the havoc and his top aides, why in the heck are we still over there bombing? And just sent some troops over to Venezuela.
Yeah, I saw that.
You got the leader. What are we doing? At some point, it's got to click that this is maybe bullying at its worst.
Well, and I'm a historian guy, and every empire who has taken this approach of I'm a world power and now I'm getting ready to start dominating other regions ended up stretching themselves too far. And that's how the kingdom ended up collapsing. Rome tried it, and then they tried to do an East and West Rome, and then it all collapsed because you're trying to run it from D.C.
Absolutely.
And everything else will collapse on the exterior. So we're going to overextend ourselves. And I think Reed Keaton put it up here. We're at $1 billion a day on this war when the country is already in a deficit. We're going to end up bankrupting ourselves and not being able to continue to fight these.
Well, no, he'll get it from the tariffs.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's what
so
he
we'll
says.
still end up paying.
He'll get it. I'll get it out of the tariffs. I'm gonna put tariffs on everybody and everything, and we're gonna make America great again. If this is great, because our servicemen, when you don't have a child in, and you ain't got nobody in your family in the military or who have been in the military,
right,
and you just do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, go ahead and send Jared and Eric and all them over.
Look over in England. Those boys
had to serve.
They had to serve. The queen's grandchildren
Yep.
Served in military.
Yep.
If you want to send somebody off, maybe somebody from your family should be involved.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying,
Who's his baby boy? Yeah, send him.
I don't know what that little boy name is. I don't know. What's his name?
I have no idea.
Behind us is the funeral of Jesse Jackson going on. And it is in this place called the Hope Center.
House of Hope Arena.
House of Hope.
Arena.
It's huge. It's packed. And everybody who's a who's who is in that place. But I'll say this. Man, Jesse ought to be tired.
Yeah, and he done been around this country like Abraham Lincoln's funeral.
Man, they had Jesse flying around so much. He died like a month and a half ago.
I feel like forever.
But big ups to Jesse. Much respect to a man who, I mean, they packed it out. And I'm proud of us for doing that. I'm proud of us for packing it out, for waiting in lines, for lines going around the corner. It shows that there is still some bit of our culture left that when they would come out like that. Now, I'm going to say this, and this is all. His daughter was singing. You see his daughter singing?
No, I did not.
She kind of like did some impromptu singing the other day. So I was like, everybody got to get their shining. But I see Marvin Sapp at the funeral.
Yeah. I'm sure today is getting ready to be the.
Oh, it's gonna be the one. I'll go back and look at the highlights because if it's anything like Aretha Franklin's funeral, I
think we still sitting there watching that.
Yeah, right. Aretha Franklin funeral went on for like 22 and a half hours. Like people was in there literally sleep.
But she had an outfit change.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
I think that's what did they do when they took her out to change her outfit?
I have no idea.
Just skip to the loop. We're gonna take the body out. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I cannot imagine taking the body out and then redressing it.
Yeah.
During the funeral?
Yeah.
Well, Jesse,
Jesse been in like 9 states, so I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. So and kudos to the family, because they had the whole ordeal with not being in the Capitol Rotunda, and they didn't let it phase them.
Absolutely,
they let everybody else talk about it, but they didn't get phased by it.
I was proud of that.
Yeah, they went ahead and went to South Carolina, and whoever would accept them, they just went with the flow, and I think we sent him off like a national leader that he is.
I totally agree. So big ups to Jesse, his family, to his organization, and prayerfully all of that will continue going and going
you know
strong.
What? Even in transition, I was surprised because the Rainbow Push Coalition still have been having their Saturday services. So yeah, like you said, shout out that they're still pressing on even in the face of
they
transition.
got a nice building too.
Yeah. They got a nice size in Chicago.
Al Sharpton and his organization, I think I read, are moving for their Saturday to Mother Amy Zion Church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw it. I don't know if it was just one time.
Okay.
But I did see it. As a former Zionite, I think that's big, and that they would do that. But these organizations are still important.
Yes, they are.
Folks, don't ever think that the NAACP, Urban League, all of these organizations locally is not important, because they definitely are still important, because we're definitely still fighting for shucks now more than recently.
Now more than ever. We're
fighting
end of more than ever.
It's like, gee whiz, we got to fight for everything.
Everything.
Because the president y'all know, the president we have now, he trying to make America great again, he said.
Well,
I want to know what great means.
Well, it's make America back to prior 1776, it feels like. But, and it's not only the president. I think right now what we're seeing is you're seeing the break from the MAGA Republicans and the partisan Republicans, but we need the partisan Republicans to fight a little bit harder, and bring the balance back to this country.
I agree.
We just bring the balance back, and we're not saying that we're going to agree on everything ideological, but we all believe in this great republic that we all live in, and that's just the sanity we want to get back to and the decorum of this country.
Although I'm a Democrat, and I think I've proven this in my time in elected office, I work with everybody who wants to work. And you notice from being chief of staff, I got along with Republicans.
Sure
I
did.
remember one Republican chairman saying to me, "You're probably the only Democrat that I would support if you ran for mayor."
Absolutely.
So I knew I would have had some Republican support because I learned I know how to work with everybody that wants to be worked with. Now, if you don't want to be worked with, you can sit your crying tail over on the side somewhere and cry.
And I'll say this: there was sometimes a lot more support on the Republican side.
You want to preach? Now you know I'm free.
I was getting ready to say there was a lot more support sometimes on Republican side than the Democrat
Darius
side.
Pridgen is free. He will say it. Listen, I want you to let everybody know that I got the Comptroller of the City of Buffalo in the house after we come back from a break. Let me just set this up a little bit, especially for our Atlanta audience who might not understand our government here. In Buffalo, we have 3 branches of government that are all independent. You have the Common Council, that is independent body. The only persons that the Common Council elects is the president of the Common Council every 2 years. You have the mayor's office, the executive branch, separate, and then you have an independent comptroller. Basically, the person who watches the purse strings of the city of Buffalo. In the city of Buffalo, there's a heated battle that we won't be able to discuss today because it's still in court. But I can say it. I'll give the outline of it. The comptroller, the council, puts forth a budget. The comptroller then must sell the bonds for capital projects. The comptroller says, basically, I'm not going to sell the bonds because they go above my cap that I set. The council says you can't do that, so they're in court. So in the meantime, the comptroller who is independent of the council, the comptroller who is independent of the mayor's office, makes a hire. And some people from the council do not like the hire because they say that the hire used to work for the city of Buffalo. We're going to get all into it. And we invite everybody on this show. You want to give I ain't going to say everybody, let me back up. We invite people who want to bring a topic that we want to talk about.
Absolutely.
That's going to help our people. We're going to be right back after these messages.
When it comes to something as personal as your clothes, you need to deal with somebody you can trust. That's why so many people turn to Hobson's Dry Cleaning, conveniently located in the heart of the community at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming.
When you take your clothes to Hobson's, you can trust that they'll be ready on time.
You can trust that your whites will be white.
You can trust that you'll always get a fair price and service with a smile.
You can even trust that you won't have to get out of your car if you don't want to. Hobson's has a drive-through window for your convenience.
Trust is what it's all about at Hobson's Dry Cleaning.
Hobson's Dry Cleaning, your one-stop dry cleaners serving the community for over 30 years at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming. Call 891-8298. That's 891-8298.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home has 3 locations to serve you in Buffalo. 347 Peckham, 2258 Bailey Avenue, and Providence Memorial Chapel at 1275 Sycamore. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes offers traditional services, and they have services for all faiths. And at Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, they have air-conditioned parlors and chapels. Financing is available, as is limousine service. At those difficult moments in your life, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes is available where you are with counseling services. Call toll-free 877-885-7734. That's 877-885-7734. Or locally 845-5545. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. We are here to serve you, here to serve this present age. Call today, toll-free 877-885-7734. Or email info@brianklewisfuneralhome.com.
Thank you to Hobson's, the doctor of dry cleaning. Thank you so much for paying the bills. And, of course, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. If you don't know it, they have a new part-time employee.
Yes, they do.
I'm enjoying.
I know you are.
So somebody tried to be smart. I put, about how much I appreciate working at the funeral home. And they said, so you like burying people? Yeah, I like taking care of the alive.
Yeah.
And one of the ways you take care of the alive is you service their needs.
Absolutely.
So my boss, I got a boss. My boss called me the other day to do something. I won't go into detail what it was. But she didn't even call me. She said, hey, can you send me somebody over to do such? And I was in the house, and I was like, I'll be there in 15 minutes. I think it really it trips her out that I'm really serious about this.
Absolutely.
And tomorrow I'm doing a funeral. I'm preaching it, though.
I got one Sunday.
I got to preach. You got one Sunday?
Yeah.
At the funeral home?
No. It's a friend of a friend. Her mom passed away, and they are so they're not having a traditional service. It's more they're at like a function hall, and it just kept escalating. It was like, can you do the scriptures?
Wow.
Okay. Can you do the prayer of comfort?
Wow.
Can you do? And I was just like, you just need somebody to do a service, yeah.
You let me tell you this. I have preached the funeral and worked the funeral.
Yes, you have.
So I had to come out of the pulpit and then get the casket.
I've seen it. I've seen you do it.
Then go back up and
officiate.
And officiate. So you can call me. I just love being there for families during the hardest time of their life, and to see the transition and the beautiful work that Brian does over at the funeral home, from when we receive a loved one to when the loved one is viewed to that last final close. I'm honored. So I just want to say I'm honored. Thank you, Brian K. Lewis, for letting me just hang out. And so the other day I was supposed to drive the lead car. You put the pastors in the lead car. But I wanted to drive the hearse. So
of course you do.
I say to my boss,
yeah,
could you drive the lead car so I could drive the hearse?
Yeah.
So she drove the lead car. So the other day we had another funeral. I got the lead car.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
Yeah.
I want to drive the hearse.
Yeah.
And so when I'm in there, I talk to the loved one like, we on the way.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the way. Thank you.
It's your final ride.
Yeah. So I'm honored. All right. I got Barbara Miller Williams, the Honorable. You've been elected to a lot of things.
Oh, quite a few. I've had the honor and the privilege to serve the people as a council member, as a chair of the Erie County Legislature, and now as the Comptroller for the city of Buffalo. Nothing but a blessing.
So you're one tough cookie. I will say that. Retired military.
I served in the Army for 30 years.
Retired police officer.
Retired, proud to serve.
A retired police officer.
Buffalo police officer. I also successfully retired from there, did 29 years of service.
So you don't rattle?
I don't rattle. It takes an awful lot.
It takes an awful lot. Have you ever lost an election?
I have lost an election.
I don't remember.
Ironically, I ran for Erie County Sheriff at one point in time.
Right.
Unfortunately, I was on military duty. I got called to duty during that tour. So I wasn't able to actively campaign, but that was an election that I participated in. I also lost the Erie County Legislature seat when, in the history of Erie County government, they did not have a primary.
Wow.
The cards were stacked against me. Dynamics were in place. They didn't hold a primary. Therefore, I lost that election. But ironically, the very next election year, I was back.
You came back. I remember that.
I was back. So there's been some ups
because the person
and
in the
downs.
seat only had one term.
One term.
And you came right back.
Came right back.
And so you are the bounce back queen.
And very similar to you, I sat and I listened to when you talk about what things that you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know what we're going to do when we grow up.
Yeah.
But we're having a wonderful journey in the meantime. The things we're doing is from the heart. We love it, and it's in service.
So let's get to what's the big topic that has been on the news, been in the paper. You made a hire recently. Yes. Tell me about that hire and the controversy that has been behind it.
Well, we have a position in the Department of Audit and Control, specifically in the Comptroller's office. And the title of the position is Executive Assistant to the Comptroller. That is a position that was in the budget when I came in 2019. My predecessor, Schroeder, had that position in the budget. So it's not a new position. It's been there.
So you did not create this position?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It has been there. And there have been employees that served in those, that they were hired for those positions. However, they've moved on. They've grown. And so I had a vacancy. The vacancy has existed, truth be told, since last year, approximately, I'd say about September of last year, because I'm very serious about my hiring practices. I don't just fill a position because somebody needs a job, somebody asks about a job. I'd rather to stay vacant until we get the right fit for the position. So this particular position has been vacant for an extended period of time, and we're trying to fill positions with the right qualified individuals so that we can keep the comptroller's office and the department running smoothly. So this position has been there at the salary that it's been at for an extended period of time. I have been putting out for months through word of mouth, through an agency called Staff Buffalo, Indeed.com, etc., where I've been saying to folks, these are positions that are available. The civil servant positions, as you know, are posted on the city website. The exempt positions are not. So that's where I've been reaching out to. I've been telling everybody, I got these positions. I've gone to churches. I've talked with anybody that will listen and say, I'm trying to fill positions, these vacancies in my office. Ms. Thomas interviewed, as did others. She interviewed for the position. And the interview was conducted by my staff, my existing staff. They do the interviews. When I don't actively engage in the interview. They make recommendations to me. I had an opportunity to look at her resume. She's extremely qualified. The position is chief of staff. She was the chief of staff for the Erie County Legislature. She was a chief of staff under the guidance of legislator Betty Jean Grant. She was the chief of staff on 2 occasions with the New York State Majority Leader, Crystal Peoples-Stokes, not only on the not only on the Erie County Ledge, but with the New York State Assembly. This individual comes through the door with a wealth of experience. She has the education. She has a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in organizational leadership. She served as the director of marketing with a community health organization. So for those who are questioning why her, the question should be why not her?
So the question, the reason that they're questioning it is because of something that happened years ago. Now, first of all, I want to clarify, the job that she's doing is not in accounting. It has nothing to do. It's about taking care of the controller, the calendar of the controller, right, where the controller is going to be, how the office or whatever staff she has supervising to make sure the office runs smoothly. It doesn't touch the money.
It has absolutely nothing to do, because there are folks who, and quite frankly, it surprises me when I hear even council members question it. They should clearly understand that in the Department of Audit and Control, we have an audit division. She's not going to have any oversight over that. We have an accounting division. We have a debt management. And then we have the comptroller's office. So for those who are questioning what it is that she's going to be doing, it has absolutely nothing to do with the finances of the city of Buffalo. She's not going to be working in any of those divisions. She's working in the comptroller's office.
Well, I think one of the, and so for the Atlanta audience especially, the reason some people are questioning it is because I don't even know the year. Let's see, I think I got it right here. In 2011, now we're in 2026.
Right.
And she's gone on, and let me give a disclaimer. I know Carla personally. She is a member of this church. This interview is not a pro-Carla. It is just an information so that people will know how government runs. Right. The council does not choose your exempt staff.
Absolutely not.
You do not choose the council's exempt staff, and nor do either of you choose the mayor's exempt staff. In 2011, there was a situation in which the mayor then, Byron Brown, and you can correct me, there were some people being paid who have been deceased, but there was no system in place for Carla or even her predecessor, because I want to get this right, because I watched this. Even her predecessor, we didn't have the computer systems, and the Munis system is one of the worst systems in the world for her to be able to know when somebody died unless she had a crystal ball. The then mayor says, okay, once it comes out, and of course, everybody else always rolls first, and then says, put a system in place, didn't feel she did the system in place quick enough, and then let her go, right? Am I close to clear, right?
Yes, you are.
So now it's being said by some people, she lost $2 million from the city, so she shouldn't be working for you as chief of staff, a job that she's held over and over and over and over and over and over again, and never been let go because she did something wrong as a chief of staff. But I'm gonna say this, and it's my opinion, as Darius Pridgen, I feel that when there was no system in place in the first place, that you got it, that blame should be evenly passed out.
and the blame was not evenly cast off. As we know in city government, one individual does not have the authority or the power to do anything exclusively when it comes to allocating dollars out of the city's $2 million out of the city's accounts. So unfortunately, she was the one that had to bear the brunt.
Yes.
It was one of those, your name is at the top.
Yeah.
Even though you had staff, you had people around you, they're the ones, it was their exclusive responsibility to make these things happen. But we know life works, you're at the top, you're going to have to take responsibility.
Yes.
And that's pretty much what occurred. She had to wear it. But even though all that did occur, at the end of the day, systems are in place. As comptroller, in the last 6 years I've been in office, there are numerous occasions where I still find that there are systems that are antiquated, that are insufficient, and
they don't even talk to each other.
We're constantly trying to get it on one accord. So that particular incident, yes, it happened. That was back in 2010, 2011. That is something that I say to anyone. You need to go and talk directly to that individual. You go talk to the former mayor, that administration. That's for them to sort through. I got to focus on today and what she brings to the table today, and know that my decision to bring her on board, yes, I understand and clearly know what happened in the past, but what we're focusing on today, there are an apple and an orange. Today, what she brings to the table in our office is going to be leadership, experience, and expertise that's going to be valuable for the citizens and the taxpayers.
Well, and because I know Carla personally, she's a tough cookie too. So at the end of the day, you wanted to give your side of the story. How are you feeling about people making that judgment without knowing that she wouldn't? I mean, because now you're saying it'll be played and people will hear it, because I always say you can't defend what you don't know. Right. And so now you let them know. Did you feel like when you made the hire that it would be controversial?
I did feel that, because I clearly understand people don't know what they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And while the narrative is out there, I even heard things like she mismanaged. Did she take the money? All kind of inaccurate information is out there. I internalized all of that. People don't know what they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I also had to sit back and reflect on, some people really know. See, what you have right now
you better say it.
African American women, and they know me. And they know Carla throughout the city of Buffalo and throughout this community. She has a reputation. She has an image. Her character is stellar. Her integrity is super high. They're concerned about, now that you have us in the same room, in the same environment, singing the same song.
Oh, Lord.
Folks are worried. They're nervous. They get really uncomfortable in this city when you see, in particular, African-American women coming together, and we're working on one accord on behalf of the citizens and the taxpayers in a positive way. So I clearly understand some people don't know what they don't know, and they have their own narrative. But let me tell you, there are people who do know, and they're very worried and they're very concerned, because we're going to do the right thing. We're going to be transparent. I say we, myself, and Ms. Thomas, and all of my staff. They're the naysayers who are challenging, questioning, or they have concerns. I say to them, I'm okay with being an African-American woman where things are happening that are historical in nature. Because as you know, the three branches of government, we never intercede, we never interject. We stay in our own lanes when it comes to the hiring of our staff. For a council member to want to have input on who's working on my staff, my message to that council member in the Fillmore district is he needs to go handle his own business and take care of his own district, because we're good in the comptroller's office. I don't need his advice. I don't need his recommendations. And he is not speaking on behalf of the citizens of Buffalo, New York, because the citizens who know, they know that Miss Carla Thomas is an outstanding hire. Those who don't know, they're about to find out.
I'll take the moment, because I want to join you on the soapbox for just 30 seconds. And I think, and you hit it on the head, it is a black woman issue, and it's not just in Buffalo, it is everywhere. And even if you start locally, we just watched a man destroy public property on camera, and that's going to retire with his full pension and no issue. We elected a congressman in this county who was convicted, and Chris Collins, to the point now he's in Florida, get ready to run for Congress again. We have a convicted president that is now sitting in the Oval, all white men. So we have to challenge the system, because white men are the most upset and afraid of the black woman. And we keep letting it happen, and we can sit on the sidelines and not say nothing. So I join you on this soapbox in protecting black women.
Ani Depends. Well, Katrina Martin Bordeaux says Comptroller with exclamation points. Ani Depends says, I love how you explain this, Comptroller, very well. As a black woman from Buffalo, I feel very proud. You got all kinds of hearts coming up right now on what you just said, and you said it boldly, and you mean that.
I mean it.
Where do we go from here?
We move forward. Ms. Thomas will be a hire on our
Now,
staff.
does anybody have to approve that?
It is a receive and file item. It's, as you know, it's currently going to be in Civil Service next Tuesday in the Civil Service Committee. I expect a council member to weigh in and share their comments, and that's okay. Then it will be moved to the full council where it's a receive and file. No one has to approve it. It's been approved from above. It's been approved right here. But comments will be made, comments will be said, but those comments, they're okay. We're going to wear them. We're going to move forward. We're going to have, all I can do is say we're going to show them better than we can tell them about why it is important to bring not only Carla Thomas, but it's important to bring the best and the brightest staff to city government at all levels.
So that people understand this, when for instance, in this case, the reason it goes to council is basically just for public information.
Without a
that
doubt.
This is who the comptroller is getting ready to hire. This is the where it's coming out of the budget line, and then that kind of enacts then budget to start paying them and blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, it is very rare that a hire from another department would be held up by the Common Council.
That is correct. It is unheard of. This is historical in nature. The only time that city employees go before the council or they weigh in or they have any input is with positions such as the police commissioner, the fire commissioner. Commissioners go before the council.
The cabinet.
The cabinet. But the everyday citizens that the employees that work, for instance, in the clerk's office, in the Common Council office, in the comptroller's office, they don't go before the council member. This is just a formality. I say that if we're going to set a precedence, if the council member or members want to make this the order of the day, every last item that comes before the Civil Service Committee, I want them to have that same energy.
Now, let me ask you this, and I don't remember because I never remember any controversy over somebody else's hire. Not that I can remember.
There's a mutual respect. We don't do that. It's unheard of.
So if the council, let's say there are 5 people in the council who tables it, you cannot hire Carla then?
I can hire. There's nothing in the city charter that says I cannot. They will weigh in with their opinions.
That's
I can
it.
still hire.
So nothing, regardless of whether it's sitting at council now, it does not stop if there is a vote against.
It does not stop.
So Carla Thomas is hired.
Carla Thomas is officially hired.
Why did you come here and tell us this today?
Because I need to ensure that the citizens and taxpayers know that there's a lot of rhetoric, there's a lot of information that's been out there with the mass media that is unfair, it's unjust, and it's quite frankly incorrect. This is an individual that has an opportunity to continue her service within city government. She should be given that opportunity without all this undue scrutiny, without all of this. If you go on to, for instance, Channel 2, 4, whatever the news stations are, the comments that people are making based on the fact of this hiring, it's absolutely ridiculous. But we know this is the region we live in. This is Western New York. That's to be expected. They're saying things about her. They're saying things about me. As you started out, we're tough cookies. We're going to survive. There's nothing that anybody is going to say out there that's going to prevent she nor I nor any of my staff from being the professionals that we are.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think that you and I know you got an election coming up next year. And if you decide to run, I think you probably picked up – I know you picked up some voters just now on our platform because they are going in. When I say – I ain't never seen Monique comment this much in my life. She said keep the exact same energy. She giving you claps and all that.
Look, not since she was on the show.
Right. Not since she too transparent. I love it. Let's not hide. At the end of the day, I think that we have heard. I know we have heard from the Comptroller of the City of Buffalo, and we invite council members. You want to come on? You want to tell us what you feel? But at the end of the day, seemed like Carla Thomas. Now, let me say this in all transparency. I hired Carla last year in a position here at the church. She quit.
Yeah.
And she quit because she couldn't fulfill because something else she had to do.
Right.
And I'm glad that she just came to me and said, I got to do this, so I can't do this, and didn't just take our money.
Absolutely.
She ain't take our money.
That's
so
called integrity.
Day, obviously, I think that she is a good hire because I called her for the job.
Yeah.
I personally called her for the job because I knew she had the community experience, and she knows our community, not just the black community. Carla knows the city of Buffalo, so I hired her, and she quit. And she said, Pastor, I can't do this right now.
Well,
and I was
your loss
grateful.
Is our game.
Your game, but I was grateful because she was doing a great job. Listen, I think I'm out of time.
You got 2 minutes.
Listen, so all I'm saying, there's a lot going on in the world. We do so much better when we work together.
Absolutely.
Than when we work apart. And at the end of the day, I was grateful to serve as the president of Common Council for a decade, to serve as the Ellicott District Council member for 12 years. But I always tried to find that spot where we're able to compromise. You can say what you want to about Dave Franzak.
Yep.
Dave Franzak taught me a lot.
Yes, he did.
When Dave Franzak said to me, asked me did I want to be the president, and Lacurdo, and he said, because what I've noticed, you stand up, you're your own man.
Yep.
Everybody thought I was going to go there and I was going to be, the mayor's lapdog. And I ain't no man. I'm a grown tail man. I ain't nobody's lapdog, and I appreciated that. So at the end of the day, a lot going on. It's better to work together.
I was going to say, and with everything we got going on, we got budget issues, we got war issues.
We have war.
And we talking about an appointee that you ain't probably never going to talk to. It's just.
We got war. We got war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Say it again. Until next week.
Power to the people.